Morning, Fabian. Could I just ask if there's any new injury concerns from the weekend?
I think it's just James. He suffered a small muscle issue, so he won't be available tomorrow.
And just from last week, Mitoma, Veltman and Gruder, they didn't quite make the squad, but are they any closer to being involved tomorrow?
They're getting closer, but I don't think that they have a chance to be in the squad tomorrow.
Arsenal started the season very strong. Tell me a little bit about them from your perspective, and would you have them down as the title favourites at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. When you look at the table, I think the table tells the truth. So they're doing well, very, very good out of possession, very good with set pieces. So I think these are two main factors what makes them so successful. Very disciplined. I think everyone attacks the box, everyone defends the box. Very effective with set pieces. So will be a big challenge for us tomorrow.
In terms of dealing with those set pieces, we don't know if Gabriel's going to play tomorrow, but he seems to be someone who's been really key and strong from set pieces. How do you go about defending someone like that who's so powerful?
I think you can't defend him in 1-against-1. That's the first thing. The second thing, I think it's not only Gabriel, it's the movement they do together. I think they block very well for each other. They have really good patterns, and the other side is also that we are quite good in defending. So when we look at our defending record statistic this season, we are quite good. We also try to build like a set piece culture. This needs time. This doesn't come overnight. I think when we look at Arsenal, they're one of the first teams in the league who had like a set piece coach, and they work now on these topics for several months, for over a year, and you see now the results of all this work. So I think it's getting more and more important, these set pieces in the Premier League. So we have to adapt, we have to be ready, but we are in a progress, and we are quite confident that we're able to defend the set piece against them.
You mentioned the set-piece culture. It's been something that's been talked about a lot, especially over the weekend. I think 19% of goals in the Premier League have come from corners. I think 35% from set-pieces. Is that a trend that surprised you, that it's grown so much, especially this season?
Doesn't surprise me. I think when you look how many Premier League coaches like hired set-piece coaches, then I think it's just like the natural progress that it's getting more and more important. I think it's a big trend. I don't know how long it will be the trend when the Premier League teams are able to adapt to the set pieces from different teams. But at the moment it's a big part, like you said. So you have to adjust, you have to adapt. I think it's also important to not lose your identity. So for what do you want to stand as a club? What are your profiles? What profiles do you have in your team? So always stick to this. But on the other side, like I said, there are small adjustments, small adaptation you need to do. And at the moment that the trend is that a lot of teams play the long throw-ins, a lot of teams focus on set pieces. One of the most, or at the moment, the percentage is quite high of scoring after set pieces. So we need to be ready, and we are in a progress, and we try to ready for that. And at the moment we are doing well, so we try to keep pushing it as well.
I guess set pieces and corners, they've always been a big part of the game of football, but you mentioned long throws. I think that's something that's probably grown a little bit and been something different for other teams who maybe didn't do it before. Is that something that you've thought about? And actually now when you're looking at something like recruitment and identifying players, would that ever come into it? Would you ever look at a player who specifically has a really good long throw?
That's what I mean. Like, it's important to understand which profile you have, what style of play you have, for what are you standing as a club. So I think it's very important, because you can't jump on a train where you're not identify with, and I think that's the main thing. If you don't have a set piece team, like you won't make a set piece team out of it. And if you are more a team who tries to control the ball, who tries to put their style of play with having position, with trying to find solutions against the high block, against the low block, then I think you have to stick to it, because long term, like, you have to be convinced of your identity. And I think when you jump on a train and say, now everyone, or it's very effective to long throw-ins, and now we try to do the long throw-ins, then you're not convinced of it. And if you don't have to believe into it, then I'm sure that long term it won't be successful, but, and that's what I try to emphasize, is there are like adaptations, small adjustments you need to do. So if you have a pattern with long throw-ins and you think it's successful, then you can do it. If you have a good taker in the team, then of course you try to get more corners or free kicks. If you have like good headers, then you try to bring them into position. So it's all about like understanding the squad. What are your beliefs? What is also might helpful for against this or that opponent? What are the long-term statistics? So is it now at the moment short-term because everyone is successful with it? How long does it take that the opponents try to find a solution or try to or can adapt to the long throw-in? So at the moment, for example, Brentford are doing it quite effective, but there might be a point where the teams adapt and adjust and they won't be that effective anymore. So I think you have to do this. What do you think long term is the most successful thing? What fits to your team? What is your style of play? How you try to develop the players, and there you have to stick to it.
Because Brighton actually do have a good set piece record, but in terms of a philosophy that you're describing, are you saying that actually you'd prefer to focus on other things and maybe the set pieces come second, or are you saying it's kind of it depends on the sort of player profiles you have?
The fact that we hired a set piece coach shows that set pieces are not second, but you have to deal it like as another phase. So there's the phase in possession, out possession, transition, when you lose the ball, transition when you win the ball, but there's the other phase, set pieces, and it's definitely getting more and more important. So the fact that we hired a set piece coach and want to build as well a set piece culture means that we take it very serious. But, and that's what I also try to say, is like you still have to stick to your style of play. So Brighton is always known for getting young players in with a lot of potential. How do you develop them? Do you develop them if you only play long throw-ins, corners and free kicks? I'm not sure. So you develop them and make them better if they have to find solutions in narrow spaces, if they have to find solutions in a low block, if you try to work with them in one-to-one training sessions, then you make them better. And that's the way from Brighton. So on the one side, understand the new demands in the Premier League, but on the other side, stick as well to your identity, and that's a fine balance. These are small margins where you have to focus on, because set pieces are still like game changer, match winner, so they can be very important, or they are very important, and there are many teams in the Premier League who proved it already this season how important it is. I think we as well, we also scored already some goals at set pieces, but also see that you need to develop the young players, because that's our way.
Thank you, Fabian.
Fabian, I may have missed it, but Joel Veltman, how's he?
He's also getting closer. So I think we are close of having a bigger squad. So there are like 3-4 players just with really small issues, and I hope that they will come back as quick as possible, because at the moment it seems to be that we have quite a really small squad.
Yeah, have you missed Joel, do you think?
I think we miss all the players who are injured. I think they're all key players for us. Kruder, Hinchelwood, Joel Veltman, Kurumi, Toma. So they're all very, very important for us.
In terms of the squad, you've used a lot of the youngsters. We've spoken about Babis, Tommy Watson. How difficult is it to get the balance right against a side like Arsenal, maybe compared to Oxford and Barnsley?
Yeah, very important. But in the end, that's the way from us, and we have to believe, and we really trust the young players, and they're here because of a reason. And in the end, it's not about age; it's about quality. So that's what we try to focus on. But for sure, you always need a good balance in the team.
Did they show at the weekend that they have what it takes for the big occasion to play against the big teams?
Yeah, it's always difficult to say it after 20-25 minutes, but overall we see in training that they're adapting quite well, and that's the main thing. I said it from the beginning of the season. We can't expect like magical things from them. It needs time. We give them time. We need to give them the psychological environment, the psychological safety where they can improve, and that's the main thing. And I see they are doing it well at the moment. So we also have the belief and the trust that they can do it against big teams.
You've done it against big teams this season, Manchester City, Chelsea and the like. How do you go about trying to unpick this Arsenal team?
Believe in our quality, believe in our style of play, believe that we can beat like every team in the league if we do the basic things right, if we go there, play with courage, defend well as a team, defend the set pieces well, then we have a chance.
In terms of this competition, you talked about it being a one-off. Each game is a one-off. The club's not been to the quarterfinals for 45 years. Is that some kind of motivation that you can use with the players in terms of breaking new ground?
I think the cup competition is always a big motivation because it gives you a chance to win a title. And these games, of course, like Arsenal is the favorite for tomorrow, but the cup games are always 50-50. You always have a chance. You have to do like the small margins right, and then I'm sure that we go there with a big motivation and with the desire to win this game.
And 2 draws against them last season, does that give you any confidence, or is that in the past and gone now?
Of course it gives you confidence, but a draw doesn't mean you get to the next round. So if it's a draw, you have to win the penalty shootout. So overall, like I said, at the moment they are the best team in the league, but we also have to believe in our squad that we are capable of beating them. And like this, we go there, and if we have to go into the penalty shootout, we're also ready.
Practicing then today?
Always, not only today.
Thank you.
Hi, Fabian. Fabian, if I can start off with Leandro Trossard, such a crowd favourite here at Brighton. So many wonderful memories here at Brighton. Gone on to Arsenal, has proven himself again at Arsenal to be a real quality player. An awful lot of players in the Brighton dressing room will know Leandro very well. An awful lot of the staff will know him as well. But you didn't get a chance to work with him. What do you make looking on Leandro Trossard, the player?
I can only judge him as a player, not as a person. So when I see him playing, he's very good in both phases, so attacking and also how he defends the own box. Very disciplined, tracking back, does honest work. So yeah, that's very impressive. And offensively, of course, he has the quality to beat like every player 1-against-1. So we always need to support each other. We need to help each other if he's playing, that he doesn't have that many 1-against-1 situations.
Yeah. And Fabian, just every foreign manager has their own sort of journey before they come to England. But in Mikel Arteta's case, having played in the Premier League with Everton and Arsenal for many of years, in some ways, does that give him more of an advantage coming into the job, knowing the style of English football that he's played it for so many years?
There are always advantages and disadvantages. So what I always say, if you're a former player and playing in the Premier League and then understand that being a head coach is a completely new job and find a new passion, of course you have an advantage because like you have a big experience and you understand what it needs to play in the Premier League. This experience I made over the last 1.5 years. This experience I got from my players because they helped me a lot, especially my leaders. I got it from my assistant coaches, I got it from my staff, I got it from my sporting director. They all know how to play in the Premier League and what are the demands, and I'm quite a good listener. So I listen to them, I try to learn, I try to reflect from myself, from my own experience, and then I try to adapt step by step. So overall, we feel fine. I feel fine here. I made a lot of good experience, bad experience, but now I'm ready to compete with him.
And second last one for me, Ferdi Kadioglu, the Turkish defender. Last year, big summer signing, looked it was going really well, then unfortunately got a season-ending injury that ruled him out. He started the season real top form, really flying. How much of the setback was that for him last year, coming to a new country, having that injury, trying to learn a new language, not many Turkish players in the Premier League as well, and in some ways has it really moulded his personality to even be stronger again?
So he didn't have to learn the language new, so that was a big advantage. He spoke already English quite well, even better than me. So there was a easy step for him. Then he has like different cultures inside of him, so Turkish, Dutch, a little Canadian, and this helps him to get integrated into the culture quite fast. Of course, every injury is a setback for the player, a big setback, especially for him, because I think when he arrived, he was ready to play for us. But I think it's not about focusing in the past, it's really about focusing in the present and the future, and how he came back. It's just impressive. He showed big personality, he showed what an important player he is for us, and that's why we are very happy how we develop, and hopefully it goes on like this.
Yeah. And Fabian, finally for me, every player on the books of Brighton is an important player to the club, no matter if they're first team players or players out on loan at the moment. And I just want to talk about 3 Irish players that are on loan. One going really well, Andrew Moran out in Los Angeles, 8 games, a goal assist, involved in nearly every game, playing well with Sung Min. Mark Mahoney out with Reading, so far not really going so well. Reading struggling, 11 games, hasn't scored. And then obviously Ireland with Evan Ferguson out in Roma. Started off, got his starting place, he's lost his starting place now. Former Roma players coming out being critical of him, and an awful lot of talk in the press and stuff. Is that worrying to see in terms of Mark and Evan? But likewise, how proud are you of Andrew that's going so well?
So Andrew is a player I really like, because I think he has an unbelievable attitude. Like I was also thinking about him of letting him in the team, but we had such a big squad, so we had to make a decision that is the best for him to go on loan. So it doesn't surprise me that he's doing that well, because he's a great lad. He has really good attitudes inside of him. He's a great football player, and I hope that he continues in this shape. Regarding the other 2 strikers, so I think they are both like good personalities, good fighters. Of course, it's not easy, especially for Evan to go into another culture. It's a completely different style of football, so I think we need to be patient with him. He's still very young. He needs to adapt. I think he had a really good start. Now it's natural. When you look at our squad, it's the same with our young players. They are waves in their development, so we can't expect them. It's always going like this. So overall, the main thing is that he doesn't regret what he's doing, that he's overcoming these phases, because overcoming these phases, and that's the same regarding Mark, overcoming these phases means you get stronger in your personality, you get more mature, you make the next step, and I'm sure long term this will help in their development. We are all following it quite close, because they can be all very important players for us in the future, so we follow it, and we hope that they all get to what they deserve.